Sometimes in life, you have to remind yourself why you are doing something. If you don't remind yourself, you slowly get seduced into going astray, into going in the wrong direction. And the simple life, the three reminders of why I live the simple life, why you live the simple life, I want to share with you tonight. The first thing is when you live simple, you don't need to rush. Life should slow down. You don't need to make quick decisions. For the most part, there's always exceptions. You don't need to rush to buy something because you have found that once you secure the essentials of life, you don't need to have high anxiety over missing out. No rush. That's the number one thing you need to remember. You're not going to miss out. And when you have that reminder embedded in your being, you don't have to rush into an investment. You don't have to rush into a house. You don't have to rush into a car. You don't have to rush into a relationship. You don't have to make desperate decisions. This is the number one thing you need to remember: slowing down. Live with urgency, but live at the speed of excellence, which is a non-rushed life. Okay. You manage your time. You're not lazy. I don't preach that, but I preach that the nervous anxiety energy that leads to a harmful root in our being should be uprooted through the discipline and reminder of simplicity. Keith, great to see you. Hello to you also. Keith, I hope you remember when, not if, when you get to Florida, remember to keep it simple. It will be hard, especially when you're in areas like Naples or other high-end areas, which I've been, which I enjoy, which I choose to spend a lot of time. But I am odd in the midst of complexity, and I have no problem being that. You have to learn to walk alone if you're going to live the simple life. Because I am in this weird dynamic where even though I may live simple, I don't have the same mindset necessarily as everyone shopping at the Dollar Tree. But even though I may be at Whole Foods or Sprouts, I don't have the same mindset of everyone at Whole Foods or Sprouts. I have my own mindset. Simple, simple, simple. Um, and I don't need to rush to impress people. And if you can remember that, then you'll live a better life. The number two reason is so we can be ourselves without fear. We always worry that if someone doesn't like us, they're going to lay us off. If someone doesn't like us, they're going to look to hurt us. And those are real things. But what I found in life is if you work hard and you do the right thing by others, you don't have to fear being yourself. Okay. Because you don't. But you can't be yourself in your own personal life, okay, if you're not living simple. Because people use things to hold it over your head. Money, favors, etc. The reason we live simple is so we can be ourselves. That's the number two lesson. You can never be your full creative self without simplicity. If you live a complex life, you're never going to be yourself. And while that may sound simple, it's a hard thing to do, hard thing to achieve. But it's a great feeling when you can go throughout your daily life and not have a heavy fear that someone's out to get you. Now, someone may, again, always have something to get you. You may not always be on everyone's top list. That's okay. But again, you don't have to force it. You don't have to live in fear. That's the number two reminder. You don't have to live in fear. You can be yourself. You still have to work hard. You still have to do right by others. You're not invincible, but you don't have to live in fear. Twista, great to see you. Twista, I know you're going to do great at that convention expo. I've been thinking about you all day. You are a superstar. Any potential employer who doesn't recognize your star qualities will miss out. However, part of life and being young is there will be some people who don't see your talent. Don't get discouraged, Twister. I want to tell you, if you're a positive person, you show up, you do the right thing, you try to get better, there will be people that will recognize you. There'll be some that don't, but you will make it, Twister. You will move up. You will be blessed. Twister, hello everyone, Sam. I don't mean to make a big deal, but I'm immensely grateful to have made your acquaintance. It's reciprocal. Twister, I want to tell you on your journey that when you meet people in life, professionally, personally, certainly intimately, if the relationship is not reciprocal, meaning there is not an equal exchange of gratitude, it's time to move on. Twister, if you don't get anything else from any of my live feeds, please leave another comment right now so I know that you heard that. Throughout your life, if you find yourself in a non-reciprocal relationship where there isn't an equal exchange of gratitude, it's time to move on. A reciprocal relationship is the only relationship worth working at. And when you take care of yourself and when you're living simple, you should have a standard. You shouldn't have unlimited access to anyone. Why? Because you put in the work to improve your life. And if someone can't appreciate that, then guess what? The relationship is not reciprocal. And will you have that come across your journey? Of course. Number 3. Thank you again. I'm thankful for you, Twister. Number 3. The number 3 reason we live simple is to have fun. It's to enjoy our life, go after what we want, start a business, move to Florida. Just have more fun in life on a daily basis. You want to know what would really upset people? I didn't learn this till I got older and I started to simplify my life and get control of my life. You're going to be laughing, you're going to be having a good time, and someone's stressed out, not living simple. They're going to say, what's going on? And they're going to, they're going to smell out fun and put a fire extinguisher all over it. Whether it's professionally or whether it's personally. I've seen it professionally, good people, but you're having a good time. You're still doing your work. Because like I said, I met a lot of people that don't do as much work, but they walk around angry. And sometimes people think they're doing a lot of work. See, you can actually get a lot done and still be positive and have fun. But I guarantee you, people almost take offense of people having fun. I've seen it a couple times in my professional life. And I've seen it in a personal life where I talk to someone on the phone. They're in a house. We're having fun on the phone. They're not neglecting their kids. They're not neglecting their house, but they're just having fun on the phone. These are very responsible people. But all of a sudden, their significant other hears them having fun, and it's like, what's going on in here? Why do we live simple? So that we can laugh, okay? And if people don't like it, they can leave. I want to tell you tonight the 3 reminders. Let's break the internet with this. Let's break the rigid soul of Satan. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. 3 reminders. Number 1, don't rush. Don't rush for an investment. Don't rush for a house. Don't rush after a person. Slow down to the speed of simple. Live diligently, work diligently, but don't rush. Number 2. The number 2 reason that we live simple is to be ourselves without fear. When you can't be yourself, you're under pressure to be who other people want you to be because you need something from them, money, approval, etc. And you shouldn't look to create enemies. I don't look to create enemies. And if it wasn't for YouTube, guys, like I say, for me in my personal life and all my personal dealings, I'm very positive. I get along with everyone. And if I don't get along with someone, I just navigate around them. Because I learned I don't want to be a bulldozer. I don't want to try to change people or run them over. If someone's really an obstacle, I navigate around them. Oh, that's an extra gem. Click that thumbs up. When someone is a major roadblock to your life, don't be a bulldozer. Be a navigator. Navigate around them whenever possible. Whenever possible. 90% of all conflict is avoidable. I hope that rung in your eardrums like a marching band psychopath playing the drums. And shout out to everyone playing the drums, but I got very upset this weekend. Someone's playing the drums very loud for no reason. And the number 3 and final thing is remember, guys, to have fun. You watched this channel over 3,000 videos over 4 years, every day a video, and you saw overall sadness, but you saw more fun than sadness. You can't have life without sadness. I've cried. I've got frustrated. I'm human. You can be human. I remember when I thought I had to be perfect. And I remember a girl telling, a girl and a guy told me one time, I said, Sam, I mean, you can only be human. You're not perfect. You're not God. And that took some pressure off me. Because, sometimes I think when you're young, you have this little delusional state where you think that you have to make everything right in the world. And as you get older, if you get wiser, you learn that there's some things in life that, you're never going to be able to control. Don't burn yourself out on them. Focus on what you can control. Simplicity allows great focus. A complex life means you're stretched too thin. These are reminders on why we live simple. I hope they helped you. Keep it short and compact in the structured message, because when you're delivering the message, keep it structured, simple, and under 15 minutes. And let's go to all live comments. Thank you to all my members. I appreciate with gratitude your support. Thank you, Yahoo Buck, for the super chat. $10. Superman, super sticker emoji flying. Yahoo Buck, thank you with great gratitude in my heart. Thank you to all my members. Rodshare, Sean, Payton, Nolan, Twisted Keith, Savat's in here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Yahoo Buck, again. Thank you. I see you and I appreciate you. All right, I'm taking a hydration break. We're going to all live comments. Shout out to Yahoo Buck. Thank you. So grateful. So grateful. Thank you, Yahoo Buck. Thank you, everyone. Again, Keith, great to see you. Twister, great to see you. Keith says, I have faith and respect for Twister. I do too. He's going places in life. Twister, we pray the hedge of protection over your life. We pray that, we know that you'll do the work because you've already established that you are someone who is willing to do the work. You work at Dunkin' Donuts and you go to school. You don't complain. You have a disabled sibling. You have some issues with your father. And you're one of the most positive people in this live chat. There's been people in this live chat that have it so much easier than you, and they cause so much problems. So I've also learned this in life, there's no exact science to know why people are the way they are. But Twister, we know that through your work and through God's grace, we pray that you're able to achieve everything we believe and we know you will. Keith, I think keeping simple helps eliminate stress. It does. But you have to remind yourself, because there's a car lot with an emotional transaction. They give you a free water and they want you to pay full sticker price, especially in today's economy. And if you don't, they're going to leave a nasty comment and they're going to say you look down on them. And what I could tell you is you love them, you respect them, but hey, you got to speak your truth. And the truth is, you can walk off that lot 20 times. Someone asked me one time, do these RV dealers get upset that you go on the dealership and you don't ever buy an RV? I said, I don't know. They don't have a sign that says you can't window shop. So you know what I do? I window shop, I make videos. Okay. And hey, I guarantee you I'm doing better than 90% of people who bought an RV. in my opinion. This is my opinion. I agree with you, Keith Twister. Yes, Sam. Heard loud and clear. I made notes to show you. Thanks, especially because of your boundaries and blocking stream a few days ago. It hit me like a train. I'm still halfway there through it. Yeah. I didn't understand how to structure boundaries until my 30s and even my mid 30s. It takes a while, but you need to start now and refine as you go. With your mother, I'm visiting my mother now, and I love my mother. I respect my mother. I don't have to be here. I want to be here, and I'm grateful to be here. But I have boundaries. During the day, I leave, I do my work, I come back at night, I avoid my siblings, I do what I need to do. Why? Because I've been the other route where there's conflict, and everyone needs their own space, everyone needs their own time. Your mother, even though she gave birth to you, she still needs her own space. Your siblings are different than you. You can't change them. You need boundaries. Your friends do not want to do what you want to do. Everyone has a different mind with different thoughts, and the best thing you can give people is space. And if you respect their space and they respect your space, you have a reciprocal relationship. But if there's a guilt trip, if there's conflict, if there's contention, then you don't have a reciprocal relationship. You have a toxic relationship. And there's no place for that in your life, because that's why most people destroy their life. Number one cause of stress is relationships. Keith said that keeping it simple helps eliminate stress. That's true, but I did a live feed one time called The Top 3 Things That Create Stress. And the number one, even before money, is relationships. Number one thing cause stress. So when we talk about keep it simple, remember, number one thing, keep your relationship simple. Is it reciprocal or is it not? Is it healthy or is it not? No gray. Remember, the relationship status of it's complicated was the biggest red flag to society. If you ever flagged a relationship, it's complicated, you were in a toxic relationship and you played a part. Why? Because it takes two to tango. And if you don't take accountability for that, then you're never going to go forward in life. You're still going to be saved. I know some great loving people that are in a great deal of dysfunction. They've even done some great things for me. They were very gracious to me. The hardest part about growth is great people did great things for you, but now, for whatever reason, and because you put in the work, you've grown to another level of understanding and self-care and growth, and now you like jumped ahead of where they're at, but you still have to appreciate what they did for you when you were at a lower level, but you also have to walk confidently to the next level. There's a book called The Final Quest. It was a little bit based on religion, a religious philosophy or a spiritual philosophy, but I love the principle. I remember the book was basically about, we're climbing up this mountain. And on the lower level of the mountain, you meet a lot of people. Because at the lower level are the masses. Only a few people make it to the top of the mountain. But you have to remember, the only reason you make it to the top of the mountain is because some people helped you at the bottom. However, if to repay them you stay at the bottom of the mountain, you've not done them a service and you've not done yourself a service. And those who helped you for the right reasons, they don't want you to stay at the bottom of the mountain. If they do, they're a guilt tripper. Or they're going to hold something over your head the rest of your life. And that's not simple. That's Satan. You got to go forward. You got to keep climbing. If you have talent, if you have willingness to put in work in your life, and I don't want to hear that no one's got talent. Like I said, guys, we're seeing psychopaths smarter than the FBI, probably up top of the mountain, claiming that like they don't have disability, that ability. Look, guys, I believe in disabilities, but I also believe a lot of people sell themselves very short, and it's a shame. But I'm not here to fix people. I don't want to do that. Played that game before. And I'm here to share with you. Let's keep going these comments. Thank you for your patience. Savat, it's great to see you. Savat, you've been with me a long time. Shout out to you, all my truck drivers. And thank you, Savat, for being with me for many months now. You've been very gracious to me. I know that you settled in a little bit in North Florida, and this winter you may be in South Florida. I don't know if you're on the road now delivering truckloads or what you're doing, but thank you for everything. Okay. Thank you. And I appreciate you. David Lopez, hardworking guy, working a concession stand, selling hot dogs in northern New Jersey. Shout out to Jersey City. He goes, Sam, I just looked up a smaller Class C. It was for sale, 3,500, 1979. I would barely buy a house from 1979, let alone a motorhome. So basically, that motorhome is not even worth $3,500, even with the scraps. Why? It's 2021. That means that motorhome is over 40 years old. I would not buy any vehicle. If I told you I got a used car that's 40 years old, what would you tell me? And forget about a motorhome, which has more complex components. We're talking about living a simple life. The number one way people get caught living a complex life in the nomad life is they buy an RV. An RV is complicated. Never forget it. Never forget it. Okay. Maybe a small travel trailer, maybe a van, basic one. But when you're talking Class C, Class A, big trailers with a diesel pickup, guys, you're talking about you're wasting money and energy, and it's not simple. It's not simple. It's not, in my opinion. So, David, put that. You know how to double that $3,500? Fold it and put it back in your pocket and keep. I'd rather you put $3,500 down on a brand new van, okay, than buy a 40-year-old motorhome. Never forget it. Rideshare Sean, dude, thumbs up. Navigate around them. Rideshare Sean, that was a jewel fire emoji. One of my members in here, please, ESP, if you're in Alaska watching Nate, okay, I want you to put a jewel emoji and a fire emoji in here tonight. Thank you, Rideshare Sean. Thank you, Rideshare Sean. Shout out to you. Remember, all my gig economy workers, what's the number one commandment of working in the gig economy? For those who will prosper, accept 90% of deliveries. Only reject double orders. Only reject the very worst. Why? You're on that platform to make money, not to cherry pick. If you're there to cherry pick, you might as well sign up for every subsidy you can get, okay? Because you're not a worker, okay? You're someone we got to work around. Okay? You got a storage unit and a low acceptance rate, okay? And I'm not surprised that you got both, okay? Because you can't have one or the other. And so get that acceptance rate up and get going on your journey to your best independent life. Because to me, it's simple. You either accept to make money or you reject it and you waste time. That's it. You ever seen a psychopath calculate the miles per gallon, the logistics of a DoorDash or Uber order? Within 10 seconds, they calculate it all like Rain Man. But they also can't do a lot of other things. Yeah, I know who I'm talking to. So I want to tell you tonight, shout out to 90% acceptance rating. Top dasher. That's what I was when I was doing it. Top dasher. Twister, I see you, ESP. I love you. Twister, I was learning those lessons myself in my personal life. I was really lost and thought I was in the wrong because I was so extreme. Example, blocking. However, you confirm you just justified it all and more. Again, I am a little bit extreme. And again, sometimes, though, you have to be extreme to get stuff done. Remember, the masses are complacent. Remember, it's always good to evaluate if you've made a mistake and apologize if you have. But remember, if you're not very firm on who's in your inner circle, especially when you're young, especially when you're in an emergency situation, You will be guilt tripped. You will be peer pressured. You will basically be emotionally abused your entire life. Anyone, I want you to listen to this, put an ear emoji in the live feed. Anyone who doesn't have boundaries and enforces them, they are emotionally abused their entire life. And it takes two to tango when you're an adult. There's two parts of a toxic relationship: an abuser and an enabler. That's dysfunction. An abuser does not walk alone. They walk with an enabler. Okay. And an enabler does not walk alone. They need to try to save someone worse than them so they can justify themselves. Never forget that. Twisted, thank you so much, Keith. It means a ton. Shout out to that. Yahoo Buck, thank you again for that gracious tip. I truly appreciate that. My man, Pay DeNolan, catching the end. This is just the beginning. I appreciate you, Pay DeNolan. Thank you for everything. I'll rewatch. You already know. Pay DeNolan, you've been another gracious member, gracious supporter. I don't take it for granted. And I want to thank you, Pay DeNolan, for signing up for the memberships. Thank you for your positive comments. Thank you. Pay DeNolan, love and respect, reciprocal right back to you. My man Charles, fellow creator, fellow Floridian. Shout out to you, Charles. Hey, Sammy, hello to you, brother. I appreciate all the work you're doing on yourself because I see you doing that work on yourself. Twista, as always, thank you, Sam. Your streams are a major guiding lamp through the dark tunnels, which works because every word is straight fire. Pun intended, laughing. Much love and respect. Thank you. Like I've often shared, if I lived a complicated life right now with too big a house, with too many relationships, I would not have the extra capacity to do YouTube. The only thing that allows me to do YouTube is that I live a simple life. And you will find the same thing on your creative journey. It doesn't mean it'll be YouTube, and it doesn't even mean, all it means is that for you to find whatever you want to do in life, business, personal goals, creative ventures, the only way you're able to achieve them is if you free up capacity, time, money, energy, effort. You free up some of what you have to deploy it somewhere else. If you're spending all weekend taking care of a house, you're not going to be making videos, or you're not going to be starting a business, or you're not going to be working out. If you're in a relationship, you just broke up with someone, now you're back with them, or you break up one day, you're back with them the next day, you don't have time to do anything else. You're in this cycle of dysfunction. The only way we do our life goal, our dreams, whatever your dreams are, is if we have extra capacity. If we're stretched too thin, all we have to do is go to a chat where it's like, oh, don't feel bad. It's like, I love these gracious, kind people. They're a blessing from the Lord. But it's also a big baby show sometimes. Because, guys, if the whole thing is you got to push yourself a little bit. Okay. Push yourself to simplify, so then you have the ability, the capacity to take that little extra calculated risk. Keith, I was married 26 years before my divorce, and it shook my world. Understandable. I have been single now for 8 years. I give you credit for not getting back in a relationship. I know some people, a divorce broke them and they went right back to a relationship. It's a very interesting dynamic. I can honestly say I get lonely at times. Yeah, well, better than feeling like you are not yourself in a house that, but he goes, I can honestly say I get lonely at times, but now I love my freedom. I'm at a peace with myself. See, that's the key. You got to give yourself time to heal. When your dog dies, don't buy another dog for at least a year. When you go through a major breakup or divorce, don't date for at least another year. Why? You have to go through that season where you develop strength in being alone. Because if you don't develop strength in being alone, you're going to go into another toxic relationship. Because if you can't enjoy your own company, and if you need someone else to sleep with to make you emotionally happy, all you're looking for is a service dog or a service person instead of servicing yourself. And then you're really emotionally disabled. Okay. And if you believe you're emotionally disabled and you can't get any better, then yeah, just sign up for that life. But what you're going to find is you're going to be walking around with a trash bag and a baby cart your entire life. And if you need to do that, I'm not mad at that. But I'm trying to tell you, if you know that you can do better than that. I've seen people emotionally disabled. Instead of working on themselves, they get another dog and they never grow. And I think they can do a little bit better. I think they still have a disability, but I think they need to grow a little bit. Whether you go through a breakup or a death, you shouldn't be jumping back into things. Remember, why do we live simple? So we don't have to rush. If you have to rush back and forth, guys, I've seen that life. I've lived some of it. It's one desperate decision to another. It's one anxiety for another. You're trading the anxiety. You don't want to be alone, so you're trading that anxiety for being in a relationship. Then the relationship is unhealthy. Now you have worse anxiety. Like I always tell you guys, how do you get yourself to actually want to work or want to accept DoorDash deliveries? Well, you could say, yeah, work is stressful, but you know what's more stressful? Not having a paycheck. And then living with someone you have to share the resources. And then and the list goes on and on. So, guys, how do you convince yourself to do what needs to get done? Well, if you don't do it, it gets worse. If you don't eat right and work out, it gets worse. Everything gets worse if you don't do what makes you a little bit anxious to do. Good job. Thank you for sharing, Keith. David, I didn't buy the RV, but she has other people there are trying to buy. Well, remember, David, remember what we learned with the circus, the person who invented the circus, Barnum and Bailey or whatever. There's a sucker born every day. And so believe me, there's someone who's going to play sticker price for a 40-year-old vehicle every day. Okay. There's someone who's going to buy some cologne that supposedly came from the Dead Sea. There is someone watching an infomercial, even in 2021, that's going to buy some crap they don't need. Remember, poor people have storage units. Why? They can't stop from buying. Okay. So remember, David, to live simple is to be the exception, not the rule. We live in a time where someone won't think twice about buying a 40-year-old $3,500 vehicle. But remember, I've seen the end of that story. They end up parked at a junkyard. Remember, you can buy a tax deed house. But remember, you're going to put more into that house than you would if you bought a regular house. Why? Because I'm telling you right now, when you don't use wisdom, you're not keeping it simple. You're keeping it complex. And even though you're a good person with great ability, and I've seen people do miracle things even in those situations, and I applaud them, I don't judge them. But I also learn from them. I said, well, they didn't do the work, the research, and they weren't using wisdom. And maybe, and again, like you could say it's because of a disability, and I see some of these people that have a disability, but then they have the ability to renovate and to do things that most people don't. So it's hard to say. I do believe that there's certain people with certain psychological things, and I've even felt them and experienced myself. But again, I think a lot of people sell themselves short of how intelligent and smart and how much ability they do have. I can't figure out everyone's life. I release that. And I don't try to play God. I try to share with you what I've seen. Don't try to save your daughter. Try to do what you need to do for you. Don't try to save your mother. Like I said, guys, spend quality time with your mother instead of trying to change your mother. Spend most of your day by yourself doing what you need to do for your life. Am I going to feel bad about going back down to Florida? Hey guys, look, it's not going to make me feel great because I love to see my mother, but I've also spent adequate time with my mom, and I've lived in New Jersey. And even when I lived in New Jersey, guys, there's only so much time you can spend with your mom. She's got her own life, her own things going on. And if you spend too much time under her, she, believe it or not, she'll say that she needs more time by herself, even if she doesn't say it to your face. That's natural. Don't get hurt from that. It's just natural. So that's why we learn as we grow that everyone has their own life. But it doesn't mean you can't connect with them. It doesn't mean you can't visit them. It doesn't mean you can't FaceTime them. It doesn't mean you can't live your own life. It means that when you're living simple, some of this extra time that you have is to work on yourself. You say inspirational nomad, what's people's their biggest distraction is they they just want to keep busy to avoid working on themselves. It's the hardest thing to do is work on yourself. So you get into politics, I see people all the time, man. Like, even say I saw some guy who's always talking about having a positive mindset, pay yourself back with this, pay yourself back with that. But deep in his heart, guys, this guy, he's all wound up about politics, man. So that's why I say I don't buy, like, if you play soft music and you say positive this, positive that, you could always tell, like, when someone's, you know, when someone was a drill sergeant and treated their fellow military soldiers harshly. Okay. And now they don't want to follow orders. So I don't know everything, but I know this, is that when someone is stressed out, it's because they bought a house that they stretched themselves to buy. Okay. And now they're stressed out about politics. Okay. But you're not stressed out about politics. What you're stressed out is you bought a little bit too much house. Okay. And now you got to make a video about world affairs. It's not why you're upset. Okay. So, this is my opinion. Let me go back to these live comments. ESP, I love you. I see you in the background. You keep doing your thing. Jewel emoji, fire emoji. Thank you, ESP. Thank you. I appreciate you always watching, even if it's in the background. You've been watching me a long time. Let's take a hydration break for ESP. Twista, ear emoji. Thank you. Keith, ear emoji. Thank you. Hal, what's up, brother? Great to see you, Hal. Appreciate you. What's good, my brother? Well, we got through another day. That's what's good. Did what I need to do for work and for myself. And like I said, spend quality time with my mom. Now I'm doing my creative venture, all because I'm living a simple life. If I had a house and I was traveling from one place to another, and if I had a dog and if I had a girl, I would not be here with you. Would I be happier? No, I've lived that life. And there's a season for everything. So, you got to live whatever you're at. Hal, hope your day was great and productive. I hope the same for you, brother. I appreciate you. Hal, Sam dropping them gems, trash bags, laughing my ass off. Hey, let me tell you something. When you want to downsize, you don't buy bins. You buy trash bags. Because I'll tell you right now, if you're going to move one mess into another part of the house, that's not downsizing. That's the shell game. Never forget it. Pay it on. Move on for your own health. 100 emoji. You can lead a horse to water. You're damn right, though. Pay Nolan, you live life, you get the message. Pay Nolan. A big distraction is always trying to make everyone happy. My truth. Yeah, look, and again, I shout out to those who have a spirit to want to make others happy, because I'd rather you be on that side of the fence than a psychopath who just likes to see people get upset, because I've met them too. So when in doubt, I do tend to favor the enabler or the encourager. However, I can't excuse that wrong way of being, but I want to acknowledge those who tend to lean on the kinder side, because I rather someone want to make someone happy than someone want to make someone upset. And I will stand up, I will speak up when I see too many psychopaths getting too much authority in society, where that's starting to be the standard. No, that's not the way, guys. We might as well all be dead. Okay. So, there's got to always be that where you're willing to say, all right, that's enough. Okay. Pay Denon. Oh, yeah, right there. Hal, do you sleep on your mother's block or do you travel somewhere? I travel somewhere. Charles, I payday. Oh, at payday. Wait, what was it? I agree, payday. Sorry. Pat Go, what's up, Pat Go? Shout out to you. Good to see you, Pat Go. Kathy, I haven't seen Kathy in a long time. Shout out to Chicago. Kathy, is it getting cold in Chicago? And Pat Go, is it getting colder in the Upper Peninsula? Pat Go, what is that? A Winn-Dixie emoji and a laughing? Oh, it's a chicken emoji. Yeah, that must be Winn-Dixie. Cartoon Mark, what's up, brother? Cartoon Mark. I saw your video where you put into action the 3 mil trash bag downsizing method. And what I was thinking about today is I never want to be too harsh where I'm pushing you to do something. But like I say, what could you do if you lived in upstate New York, you had a girlfriend, you had a house, and you had 2 kids? Could you just get out of there and move to Florida. Well, not responsibly, but what you could do is you could get rid of the rental house. You could just have your primary house and see, that's what I always tell you guys. Like, you may not be able to go to Florida tomorrow, but you're not going to get to Florida the day after tomorrow until you do what you can do. So this is my opinion. I got to share because it's on my spirit. I love you, Cartoon Mark. You do whatever you want. If I was in upstate New York and if I wanted to go to Florida, and if I had a rental property and a primary property, and I had a wife and 2 kids, see, if it was just me, I sell everything now and move. But I understand you got to take care of your responsibilities. But what I would do is I would sell my rental unit immediately. It'd be up for sale tomorrow. And I wouldn't tell anyone. I would just do it. Okay. If you're the only one on that title, I would just do it. Now, again, it's going to cause problems. But like I say, if you're unwilling to do what you want to do as far as what you need to do, because you're not being irresponsible by selling your rental property if you own it. Now, people may have a problem with it, just like, people had a problem. Some people had a problem with me selling my house, living in my vehicle until I figured it out. 2 years I stayed in New Jersey. But I wasn't asking for approval because I wasn't doing anything that conflicted with their life. It was my decision, my life. And selling your rental property doesn't affect children, doesn't affect your girl, unless they're on the deed. And so I would sell that tomorrow. Okay. Why? You're one step closer to being positioned for being ready. If the ideal opportunity comes up for you to move tomorrow, you're not ready. And if you're going to wait until you get your pension to sell everything, that's another year wasted. So this is my opinion. Again, you could keep that house and that house could quadruple in value in 4 years. So for me, I'm sharing for me. I do not regret selling when I sold. I do not, because I've lived the past 5 years while other people have watched YouTube videos for the past 5 years. Can't get that time back. And you live below your means, so you don't need to watch Zillow and watch I had some girl, and the reason I blocked her was this. She was homeless, but then she found a cheap piece of property in the country, and she was happy about it. I was happy for her. But all she did in her cheap property was watch Law and Order, have 5 cats, and do nothing all day. Yeah, it's great that she's not on the street, but she's, hey guys, look, man, that's not the simple life. That's the, I just need somewhere to rot until I die life. Okay. I don't preach that life. That's not my message. Again, I'm happy that people do what they want to do. But for me, what should you do? Sell your rental property. Sell everything you can that doesn't affect the essentials for you and your loved ones. Okay. Period. And that's the message. Good job. Pat, go. What else does Winn-Dixie make fabulous besides fried chicken? Well, I heard Publix fried chicken better than Winn-Dixie. And I don't know. Like I said, I don't shop at Winn-Dixie. Why? I'm a Publix, Sprouts, Fresh Market guy. Winn-Dixie for me is only if I'm in a destitute area doing laundry and I can't find some other spot. But love to everyone out there shopping at Winn-Dixie. Pat, go. What if Bob Villa renovated a Winn-Dixie in South Carolina? Well, then you'd have a double negative. And in physics, what we call that is the psychopath doubleheader, where you have 2 extreme negative events that collide with each other. It's like an asteroid event, where you have the destitute land of South Carolina, other than the only place in South Carolina that's not destitute is Hilton Head, and it's all northerners or vacationers. There's some exceptions, but most part, you got to really get through South Carolina quick, okay? And the other part of that is renovations destroy your life. Renovations are the ultimate time waster. Unless you have a small cottage in an area you love, and you got the extra time to twinker around with your small, cute cottage in an area you love, the only reason you should go to Home Depot is to use the public restroom. If you're going to Home Depot, now for me, I've been to Home Depot though. I've renovated a lot of things. I was a contractor. These are my opinions as a 41-year-old man, is that I'm not going back to Home Depot. Why? Because I saw Satan in aisle 15 with the tiles and the carpet. And Satan was picking out a backsplash, okay, to match the Bob Villa flooring. And when I saw Satan, I said, get behind me, Satan. Okay. And you know where Satan went? He went to Winn-Dixie. And you know what Winn-Dixie went to? One, South Carolina. And you know where I'm never going? To Winn-Dixie in South Carolina. So what I want to tell you is this, guys. Catch me in South Florida. Okay. And you'll have to figure out where your inspiration is. Now, I met some great people from South Carolina. I thought about today. My man BVT, he used to be a viewer, very early in the channel. JPM Lawn Care, very conservative. We had a big disagreement about the whole flag thing. Remember, that was the thing that sparked Trump. Remember Trump, who dodged Vietnam, and then he got mad at John McCain, who was a war veteran, and then he got mad, of course, at Colin Kaepernick. That's the whole thing that sparked the whole Trump apocalypse. Okay. And I remember the people who supported that at the very beginning, and they almost destroyed society. Okay. And so now, guys, no one even cares about a flag. They just care about masks. Okay. You know, it's like, no one cares about like who's taking a knee. Guys, remember when we didn't have sporting events for a year? Okay. You saw the real destruction of society, and it wasn't because someone was taking a knee at a sporting event. It's because we had no sporting event. Okay. What we had, guys, was the Cold World War III. Okay. Almost 1 million Americans died over COVID. 600,000 plus. How many people died 9/11? 3,000. How many people died, okay, in Vietnam? 70,000, something like that. I don't know. So, guys, look. If COVID was from a lab in China and China was upset at Trump, checkmate China. Okay. Checkmate China. Okay. And who is responsible? Hey, guys, who's the smart guy in the room? Who's the loudmouth? Who decided to be a bulldozer instead of a navigator? They didn't like that Barack Obama navigated. They wanted a bulldozer. They got one. Okay. And they got bulldozed right back to their own karma. Okay. They got bulldozed right back into quarantine. Okay. Because when you're a bulldozer in life, get ready for heavy destruction. Okay. You want to be a navigator. Never forget it. And if I wasn't living simple, I couldn't tell you straight like it is. Okay. I couldn't tell you straight like it is. I saw someone today was trying to tell their truth, which I didn't agree with. Try to tell straight, but they couldn't tell straight because they got a house being built. They got too much on them. They ain't living simple. Can't even be straight with you. Keith, thank you very much. Gratitude. $5 super chat all the way from Indiana, soon to be Florida. Keeping simple. There is less clutter. Eating simple is better. Healthy, better sleep. I ate an extra piece of chicken last night after 9 o'clock. Baked chicken. But it made me upset because this morning I wasn't hungry and light enough for Starbucks. So remember, try not to eat after 8 p.m. Definitely don't eat anything heavy. Remember, live light, travel light, be the light. Keith, love to you, appreciation to you. Thank you for that gracious tip. On your way to Florida, remember, you are a FedEx driver. Navigate around the destruction. When you get to North Carolina, South Carolina, navigate around. Don't be a bulldozer. Because in life, you go very slow and you have a lot of problems when you're a bulldozer. But when you're navigating, you're living very light, you're very flexible, you're okay. I'm trying to drop some gems on you. Thank you, Keith. Paco. I like the story of the Starbucks barista moonwalking. I don't remember what that was because I've met a whole variety of Starbucks people. Men, women, love interest. And I tell you, I could have a whole playlist on the Starbucks people I've met because Starbucks employees have basically been my family members for my 4 years living on the road as a nomad because it's a major resource for me. But remember this. Shout out to all my Starbucks people that know me out there on the road. Jack, $1.99 super chat. So true. Negative for the win. Less drama. Jack, you know what it is. Mary J. Blige in the background. No more drama. Shout out to you, Jack. Shout out to you, Keith. Remember, Mary J. Blige married a guy that just got out of a marriage. He wasn't even freshly divorced. Then eventually Mary J. Blige got divorced. Why? You're going to keep someone how you get them. And if you got someone moonwalking out of a divorce, you're going to be moonwalking out of a divorce lawyer's office yourself in 10 years. You keep them how you get them. Never forget it. And if you're waiting for their spouse to die so you can finally fuck your wife, hey guys, it's time to move to Florida and forget that fantasy, okay? Because what I could tell you is that's demonic. Time to live your life and don't do that. Andy G, that's my brother. Hey Sam, hey folks, Andy G, you know what it is. Keep working on yourself. Thank you for staying with me. Love to you, love to your children, and love to your self-care. You do the best you can. That's all you can do. Not easy being a parent, not easy being a child. What do? We do the best we can. Keith, thank you again. Jack, thank you again. Thank you to all my members. Thank you, Yahoo Buck. Thank you, Twister. Thank you, Savat. Thank you, David Lopez. Thank you, Roger Sean. Thank you, ESP, Peyton Nolan, Charles, Howell, Kathy, haven't seen in a while. Great to see you. Pat Go, Cartoon Mark. Everyone in here tonight. Andy G, thank you, man. Thank you. All right, guys and girls, hopefully my video helped. Thank you for all your gracious tips. Thank you for the support of my members. Thank you for those who watch in the background. Don't take it for granted. And I just want to tell you tonight, final message, final recap. 3 reminders on why we live simple. Number 1 is so we don't have to rush. Number 2 is so that we can live without fear. We can be ourselves and live without fear. Number 3, we can have fun and go after what we perceive as our best life. This is done through freeing up capacity and keeping things simple and streamlined as best we can. We're human. So failure is part of it. Okay. But I'll tell you right now, better to have failure and figure it out than, some people say, like, I don't like that you're dragging your feet with a home base. Guys, the home base is the cherry on the top. The hard work is selling, consolidating, and figuring out your best life. Side hustling it, multiple source of revenue, exploring areas. Guys, the final cherry on the top is the home base. I don't have to rush for that. Okay. That's the fucking simple part. The hard part is throwing out everything you've acquired and figuring out what's a necessity. The hard part is going to a foreign land you've never been before. The hard part is severing relationships and building new ones, but mainly building up yourself. The hard part is starting a new side business and building up its revenue. The easy part is buying a home base, man. You know what I mean? Some people hustling so fucking backwards, man, that they don't understand someone who's working forward, man. And that's the message tonight.